One of the things with which this cultural moment has brought us face to face is the fact that life, despite all of our best intentions, is chaotic. Some of the great religious stories and ancient myths have always known this. Ideas like life is suffering, the world is chaotic, and evil is real. These are all ideas which are inescapably part of our life. But in the modern digital age, we've tried so hard to insulate ourselves from it. And in many ways, we're doing a pretty good job, if you ask me. We have better medical treatment, better food, better housing conditions, more money, more welfare services, better education, great coffee, especially in my home country of Australia, and cheaper entertainment. On the outside, life seems so ordered and peaceful and curated and clean. But the truth of the matter is it's not. A number of years ago now, the journalist Greg Easterbrook, he wrote a book called The Progress Paradox. And the subtitle pretty much captures it really well. He says, how life gets better while people feel worse. See, we live in a world which, externally speaking, looks beautiful, but get us to report on our sense of well-being and satisfaction with life, then we start to uncover something. In 2003, a story was published in The New Yorker, and it gave a bit of a window into the history of the discussion around the Golden Gate Bridge in San Fran. See, one of the things people had been noticing about the bridge was a deep irony. And the irony was this, that on one level, it is a symbol of human engineering. It shows how we have the power to tame nature. On another level, though, it's a monument to human meaninglessness. Why? Because, I don't know if you know this, but the Golden Gate Bridge is one of the most popular places in the world to commit suicide. The article, it traces the debate people have about erecting a barrier to stop jumpers off the Golden Gate Bridge. And at the same time, it zooms in on a particular man who in the 1970s walked from his home in San Francisco to the bridge itself, and his mission was simple: to jump. He told himself, if one person smiles at me on the way, I won't jump. He passed person after person, tourist after tourist, business owner after business owner. Nobody smiled. He climbed the bridge's 4-foot safety railing. He stares down 220 feet to the water. He jumps and he dies. And at the end of the article, it finishes with some haunting words. Get this, it says, as people who work on the bridge know, smiles and gentle words don't always prevent suicides. A barrier would. But to build one would be to acknowledge that we do not understand each other. To acknowledge that much of life is lived on the far side of the railing. Joseph Strauss, the bridge's architect, believed that the Golden Gate Bridge would demonstrate man's control over nature, and so it did. No engineer, however, has discovered a way to control the wildness within. One of the myths of our modern world is that all humanity needs to do to experience wholeness, redemption, utopia, whatever you want to name it, is to continue the forward march of progress until we fix ourselves up enough. But experience tells us that no matter how great our external lives are, there is always an emptiness and a chaos within. It's to this paradox, actually, that the Christian story speaks, and its answer is simply this: presence. God's presence. My wife and I started reading a book together called The Pursuit of God. It's written in 1948 by the rock star pastor A.W. Tozer. And in that book, he writes these words. He says, the life of man upon the earth is a life away from the presence, wrenched loose from that blissful center, which is our right and proper dwelling place, the loss of which is the cause of unceasing restlessness. See, the Christian story begins with God bringing order out of chaos and shaping the heavens and the earth. He then passes the baton, giving to humanity the commission to take the project of creation forward, build cities, do art, unfold the potential of all the stuff, take the ethos of the garden paradise and push it across the world. But here's the thing. The key ingredient wasn't quote-unquote making the world better. It was doing that task in the presence of God. Humanity was made for a twofold purpose: to take God's world forward, but always in the presence of God. That's the biblical vision for being human, and it's the adventure of a lifetime. But sin ruptured that, separating us from God's presence. We are all living, so to speak, east of Eden now. That sense of chaos we feel, that sense of inner unrest, it's not because we haven't made a beautiful world, which many people would even debate today. It's because our hearts are cut off from the relationship for which we were made. And here's the point, that no matter how wonderful we make this world, whether individually or corporately, that nothing will ever bring rest and peace to our human hearts. Why? Because though we were made to make this world beautiful, the key ingredient was always that of being in relationship with God. So you want to know how to tame the chaos inside your own heart? Not through just trying to fix up the external world individually or corporately, but by returning to God's presence.